Hey, check me out right now. If you have a vote for this year's Grammy Awards and happen to be checking out this video, I strongly suggest you check out Body Open by Perry Jones for your Grammy consideration and The Cookout Album Volume 1 by various artists for Album of the Year. Independent artists stand up. Let's go. Promote your brand here at Viral Hip Hop News. Email me, samant@thehiphopnews.com. No wait, let's go.
Many other things, man. So let's just get right to it. We started off, you said that you was just caught up in all this Kanye shit, man. And what's your thoughts on everything that we're seeing? We seen him with the White Lives Matter shirt with Candace Owens, and then we heard him speaking on the documentary that Candace Owens just recently released, and then obviously the interview yesterday heard around the world. So what's your thoughts on it?
I think he's right half the time. He's wrong some of the time. Mm-hmm. The statement about George Floyd, that was a dumbass talking point that a lot of the white conservatives. I have a lot of conservative followers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of I've done Candace Owens' show. I mean, she's I think she means well, but I think she caught up in a certain level of like, you got to placate to the base, as most media outlets are. That's nothing special, and that's not a diss. Mm-hmm. I think that instead of being Darren Seals told us that BLM was a sham before he was murdered, and if folks don't know who Darren Seals is or was and how he got killed and how that Ferguson movement turned into the Black Lives Matter, and it was co-opted. He told us about that however many years ago before his death. Strong black men have been saying that. So like talking about BLM at this point, and you're just placating to a base that wants a talking point, and that's just it. It's not new. It's like saying slavery is bad now is nothing. Saying slavery and fighting against it as an abolitionist in America or whatever part of the globe that slavery was happening in during the time when it was happening, then it's that now you being brave. So I think that he got talking points from her. I don't think he has. I think he's smart, but I don't think it's like Trump. I don't think they got the right advisors around. And that doesn't mean that they got to have a bunch of yes men around or only tell them to say safe things. It's the articulation of it. And I think that, he's talking to some of those points that we already knew. Black Lives Matter as a movement is obviously the movement, but the incorporation has not been on top of what they on. And don't get me wrong. I'm not saying if they bought mansions, I don't care. I care, did you do something with the community? Like, did you turn, stuff like that? So in regards to, Kanye, I think that he's right a lot of the times in regards to what he said about the Jewish community, that nobody should take that as a slight. Nobody, no Jewish person should be calling that anti-Semitic. The Jewish community has got on their game and they get money, which is smart. That is capitalism. You don't have to take a deal with, you don't have to not take a deal with Jewish people. You don't have to take a deal with Jewish people. Don't get mad. It's like when people be arguing about gentrification. It's like, well, you had that empty lot in your community for 30 years. You spent 30 grand at the strip club. Don't talk to me about because a developer came in and did what they supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to talk about what the devil doing, but it's God doing what God's supposed to do. You know what I mean? And so I think he's right on some of those talking points. I think that they're going to play the victim like they are. $140 million. He's critical of, JP Morgan, and they close his account. That's goofy. And they're proving his point. So, but I think for our people, and when I say our people, I mean people in the struggle. I live in a black community. If I lived in a struggling white community, I would be talking more directly to white people in that community. I think that our people need to recognize that I think it's important that he's showcasing the contradiction that happens a lot. He's showcasing, Charlemagne got on there and said he was speaking anti-Semitic. That's bullshit. It's not true. Anti-Semitic means I hate Jewish people, right? And that's not what was being said. But they're proving the point. But I think that our people need to recognize that we got way more work to do than like what is going on with Kanye West or entertainment in general. You know what I'm saying? Like our elected officials and so-called representatives are flirting with nuclear war with Russia. Like most people in America are not landowners. Like the general public is living like right above the poverty line. I think our people need to think about that. And if you want to pull excerpts from the Kanye thing, talk about that when he's talking about that. But I love that he's shaking up the narrative, and I love that they are proving him right. Some of the shit he's saying in regards to George Floyd dying, we wouldn't even have a question about whether George Floyd died with a knee on his neck, which has been proven unequivocally that that's how he died. Like, he's just flat out wrong there. But we wouldn't even have that question if there wasn't a police officer kneeling on his fucking neck for 8 minutes.
Right.
So there's that. But the lesson from all of this is buy land, get guns, train, learn to grow some food, develop a skill set, support community organizations locally and on the state level especially that are doing the work like we're doing at the Solutionary Center, and just get your strength up, because whether he's an entertainer talking about these things or not, we are seeing the ramifications. He said something on that interview too. He said, if they're treating me like this and I have 140 million of my dollars in their bank, how do y'all think that they're going to treat everybody else? And I think that's real. So the realness should be applied into what you're doing to not have yourself in that position, to not have $2, $3, $5 million in their bank, not having very much in cash or assets, and being dependent on the state or, agents of the state, or even private sector people that we just seem to just give our money to. If Kanye wants to really, really showcase, I saw another part of that clip where he said he was talking to Puff, and Puff was like, yo, you should go buy a bank. He said, I don't know how. Well, you don't have to. One United Bank is a black bank. Like, just transfer your $140 million right there. So that's my kind of long-winded take on the whole Kanye thing. If we're not using it, he getting hit by some grifters for sure. And he doesn't have the articulate nature to read, or the time and energy to read and study like somebody like us would or do. So he's getting talking points. Some of them are right. Some of them are absolutely wrong. Respect to Candace Owens, but that shit is all the way wrong. Most of the talking points he gets from her are, repulsive to the black community. So you can't repulse the black community while saying you're trying to empower the black community to go in a different political and social direction. So there's a bunch of lessons for us in that, but it's bigger than entertainment.
Right. I want to talk